Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hi friends, welcome back to this course on employment communication. We are here today to have 4 practice sessions on group discussions, and we are in lectures 26 to 29 of the course. This is module 6, and we have once again I repeat 4 lab sessions, sessions 1 to 4. This short introduction so that we know the modalities of the course and what we are going to do in this batch of 4 sets of lab exercises. We are in module 6, which is on group discussions, and we're going to have 4 group discussions of 10 minutes each duration. In each group there will be 7 or 8 group discussions, and they will be given 10 minutes, as I said, to discuss the topic. They have already started reading on the topic, followed by a short feedback. This will be completing the exercise. So as I said, we have 3 types of group discussions today. The first is the traditional group discussions, and these have been explained in the video lectures. The second is the case study GDs. This is very important for students of management and techno managers to exercise themselves with, because it makes them increase or better upon their analytical skills. In a sense, it's also that which molds their character and personality. And I believe in my practice with students of the VGSOM, Gupta School of Management at the IIT Kanpur, that this case study discussion brings out the best in them as managers at the workplace. Why we have this short introduction is because we have a very new kind of GD practice today, which is called the fishbowl GD. So we move to giving you the bare outlines of the fishbowl group discussion. For introduction, what we have to say is that in today's world, in today's workplace, most employers will view effective communication as most integral, as, let's say, the single most important point, very, very important point, which is critical for the success of the individual in such a competitive workplace as we have today. So the fishbowl group discussion is an activity which is designed to provide specific help in developing the interpersonal communication skills and the discussion skills. These 2 skills, as I mentioned, interpersonal communication skills, and number 2 is discussion skills. These are critical to success in business and industry as well as society. This is as per Macpherson in his publication 2005, which I will show in the references. To move further, this is an activity which is designed so that it will help the students to identify and practice effective interpersonal behaviors. So we have had lectures on communication, but this is an activity which will stress on effective interpersonal strategies and behaviors and actions in a professional context. I think that's most important, that we are going to have the 3rd kind of GD in a professional context. And all the while the students or the participants, or we call them group discussants, because they take actively part in a GD. The point is, all this while the discussants will be confronting or facing or tackling issues which concern them as managers in today's business-oriented world. This activity uses a fishbowl discussion. I put fishbowl within inverted comma, and this is a term derived from the format of the discussions as we have it, the 3rd type. What we have is what will be shown in the next slide, but let me just describe to you in a nutshell what's going to happen in the fishbowl discussion. You have the active participants who are the fish, and they are surrounded by the bowl or the observers, who listen to and evaluate them and the way in which the dynamics or the workplace dynamics of the group is emerging. That Hensley, Silverman and Hansberg in 2004 in their publication have supported this kind of group discussion, and the figure of this kind of group discussion is here. Figure 1, model of fishbowl discussions. What's the rationale for this kind of fishbowl group discussion? There are several reasons for having this kind of activity and this kind of practice. The first is that you have on the outer side surrounding the group discussions, the active participants, you have the evaluators, and the evaluators are considering not only the content which is being discussed among the participants, but also the communication activities that help or hinder discussion. More on this in figure 1 to follow soon. Second point is that this kind of fishbowl structure provides a systematic way to identify, examine and teach specific interpersonal communication behaviors to the participants. And the third and last on this slide is that this fishbowl activity provides a chance. It gives an opportunity to all the participants so that in a sense, the entire class can be participating in the group discussion at the same point of time. So either you are participating or you are evaluating. And in the next round, we can reverse the roles. So the participants become the observers and the observers become the participants in the second round. We continue on the rationale for having the fishbowl discussion. This activity is geared to push the students to conduct research. You don't have to do research in a traditional sense of the term. You just have to mentally research. Of course, you have your cell phones on silent mode and you can research. So this is an activity which pushes the students to conduct research and form opinions on topics which are relevant to the course. We have a course in the Humanities and Social Sciences department which is called Master of Human Resource Management. It was a course redesigned from an earlier course called MTech in HRD-M. So in this course, it is a professional course which is attempting to prepare the students. We call them the participants because they are quite senior. Some of the participants here will have 45 to 46 months of experience. Whatever, in the future professional life, this kind of activity will be helpful to the participants. The other reason, perhaps the last rationale for conducting this kind of group discussion, the fishbowl one, is that the focus will shift from teacher, that is me in this case, to the students or the participants, and this is a very good way by which we can, this is a very nice way in which we can, in a sense, force the participants to indulge in deep learning and to think seriously and wisely. Now, what's the procedure? Let's say we have a typical class of 30. The MHRM program at IIT KANPUR has an intake of 30, but somehow we have been managing with 15 to 20 students. We have 50 in this MHRM batch of 2018 to 2020. So typically we divide the students into groups of 7 or 8, and we have that optimal situation at hand today. The students will determine the topics to research and discuss prior to the beginning of the fishbowl GD, and they have been already advised to consider the issues in the professional context. In fact, for this second type of GD, we will be using the case study scenario only because they are in the professional context. To continue further, you may have topics like discrimination or harassment at the workplace, women and the glass ceiling effect. These are just to name a few, but today we have some other topics, so we need not dwell on this in detail. Individuals may work independently to conduct research in preparation for the group discussion. The group will meet together to create a list of 8 to 10 key questions. Just listen carefully. After you have got the case study sheets, all of you also listen. After you have got the case study sheets, you will make a list of 8 to 10 key questions which you will examine. And you will be addressing those topics or those key questions during the fishbowl GD. You are also, number 2, allowed to rank the questions 1 to up till 8 or 7, let's say. and address them in order of importance. That is number one, is most important. And maybe you can give me the final list of questions before the GD begins. So now before the actual GD begins, we will be looking at some of the behaviors and actions that either help or hinder meaningful group communication. We have already circulated positive and supportive and defensive, or in a sense, the idea is that defensive behaviors are meant to take in the offensive overtures or offensive statements of the other. We have circulated positive and supportive non-verbal cues in advance, and you have gone through it. But here we have table 1, which shows positive and negative discussion behaviors. Now keep that at the back of your mind, but concentrate on table 1, positive and negative discussion behaviors, and I will not dwell on this in detail. So now you have figure 2 in your mind, positive and negative behaviors during the fishbowl discussion. And then we come to a small evaluation sheet. Figure 2 shows the evaluation sheet. There are around 10 items on which you will be evaluated. Tally marks can be made and total score can be calculated. You can make comments. I have brought the print versions with me. This is figure 2, what we have on the screen. This is the sample fishbowl discussion evaluation sheet. This is for those who are in the outer ring, those who are the evaluators. So now individual evaluation sheet will be given for each student, in which the names of the observer who is evaluating the participant. Let's say, for example, we give Alolika the sheet to evaluate Rajarshi. Then Alolika will focus her attention on him. So in that case, you will need to sit here so that you can see him from the front as well. We can work on that. So apart from that individual evaluation sheet, we have a group evaluation form as well, and that can be for the 8th or the 7th member of the team who are observing the bowl of the fishbowl discussion. So this is figure 3, and it shows the sample group fishbowl discussion evaluation form. As we have done in figure 1, positive and negative behaviors, so we have positive and negative behaviors on the sheet. Now, once you have understood the criteria, I hope you have understood the criteria. Say something.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we have also seen the slides, though they were posted quite late because I was working on them as usual. So once you have understood the criteria, you can again check upon your mobile phones and look at the PPT on the fishbowl discussion. And once you are familiar with the evaluation forms, which I will give you soon, then we can start the group discussion. This discussion will also be 10 minutes in duration. Let's say we can make it 7 or 8 minutes and 2 minutes for a winding up. Or if you wish, what should we do? Shall we make it 7 minutes or 8 minutes plus 2 minutes of feedback? I think that will be better. Yes? So we'll make it 8 minutes and 2 minutes for feedback. And remember that because you are all mature students, you can give feedback to each other in a balanced manner, and I can also give in my comments. This is for the first and the second type of GD, the traditional GD and the case study type of GD. Okay, now let's move further on the procedure. And so we have the first fishbowl discussion, in which the group will select a member to serve as facilitator. Not necessarily the one who is the most mature, but whatever, democratically and with transparency, you can select one member to function as the facilitator in the fishbowl discussion. The facilitator will initiate the discussion. He will be the first one to speak. He will give a brief introduction, not more than 2 minutes. I will say not more than 1 minute on the topic and the purpose of the fishbowl discussion. The purpose is to solve the questions at the end of the case study GD. Facilitator may also assume the role of keeping the dialogue moving if conversation wanes. And in the final few minutes, that is final 2 minutes, we will let you know that the time is up. We will show you 2 minutes and you know that it's time to wind up. Let's look at the role of the evaluators, the outer margin or the fishbowl. And the evaluators may also ask additional questions. Once we have the last 2 minutes, they may ask additional questions of the group. We have enough sheets for that. And they can provide the brief feedback, focusing on some of the strengths and weaknesses observed during the discussion. This will not be person specific, this will not be group discussion specific, but general. Let's not name anybody. Then we have a follow-up conversation, minute number 11, and that's all. So these are few of the references used for the preparation of the fishbowl discussion, GD, and introducing you to the idea of the same. And thank you and God bless. All the best. We are now in a position to begin the first group discussion.
Hello everyone, good morning. We have a topic today which is corporal punishment. So this has been discussed since the 19th century when Frederick John White, he was killed in military flogging, and Reginald Canceller, he was a student, he was killed by being beaten up in school. So this happened in 1846, and since then it has been observed as an inhuman practice in all forms of the society, be it in Europe, be it in parts of America. But still in these days we see it being followed in some parts of India, Asia and Africa too. So
adding to that, I like to state that at least 30 countries all over the world have banned corporal punishment. This includes countries like New Zealand, Canada, most of the European countries actually, and the northern part of the American regions.
But according to your suggestion, what I think, like most of the population of our country, like more than 60% of population is belonging from the rural areas. But according to my opinion, that corporal punishment is important. Why I am saying this? Because the farmer families who is residing in the villages, they are not much more educated to guide their children in education areas. So the teacher is the personality who is guiding them for the or restricting them toward the education. Maybe some values and ethics they are learning from his father and maybe his from parents, but still the corporal punishment for the education purpose they are getting from their teachers only.
Add to that point, I'll say that I recently read a news in Times of India. A boy was beaten in school, and he was beaten to that extent that he was hospitalized. So I want to put a question that how much liberty that teacher should be given that he is beaten and he is hospitalized.
And corporal punishments can also have adverse effects on children. For example, if a child is very shy or introvert or is really too closed, being beaten up or being scolded too much can bog him down and can stop his progress also. So like you said, it is essential for someone's growth because their parents can't guide them, the teachers can guide them, but then there's a limit to how there should be an understanding of how a teacher connects to the children and how he or she can implement it.
First of all, like to answer your question. First of all, like to answer this question, that how much liberty should the teachers be given?
Yes.
According to me, teachers have the right and liberty to train the students. They are not entitled to actually beat the students or give them corporal punishments. This can lead to severe consequences, like we have seen. My friend has discussed about the death of a child, and you might have discussed regarding many things. So corporal punishment should be strictly banned. However, we should also look at the consequences. What negative consequence or negative effects?
What I think is, you're saying it should be completely banned. But what I think is, if there is no punishment given, then how would a person would?
Yes.
Yes, I would like to agree with both of them. Like punishment is necessary, but then you should know the extent to which a punishment should be given.
Yes.
Anyway, beating or harassing them cannot be justified. So, like we can say that we can give some other punishments. Punishments are necessary. We can give them some other punishments, like we had in the olden days, doing some physical activity instead of just sparing them like that. Because what I believe that we had this old school of thought where you spare the rod and you spoil the child. That holds true to a great extent. If you just earlier it was like if students did something wrong, they were given some punishment, they feared their teachers, they respected them. Now there is no sense of respect. Students take it lightly. If a teacher says something even lightly to the students, I mean it becomes a news in the media, and then the teachers are falsely targeted because of this.
Yeah, I
So
agree
that
to
is the reason
I agree to a point, and I think because after school or after college we have to deal in real life scenarios where there is no mercy for anybody. So we have to be strong enough to face those difficult challenges in life. So
Yes, actually,
such-
he
But
said
that
right.
is the
Actually, that
Yeah,
is the
having
reason
said
of
that,
seeing
but
from
we
my
agree that beating is no way justified.
Yeah,
But then we should have some or the other forms of punishment.
That's
It's
right.
not the
Yes, I
something
would
which is
like to add.
beneficial for the student
Yes.
as well. Yeah.
Why can't we have a motivation session or basically a training or a
I would like to add to
Actually,
your answer means-
according to me, it's an inhuman practice, and it has been abolished by most parts of the world by now. And so I think it's time to get rid of that. But having noticed the point you have brought up, that what if without any punishment, like spare the rod, spoil the child, that is necessarily there. But we have to find out other measures to deal with it. But another thing I would like to put forward is, we are talking about abolishment of this particular practice in schools and in families maybe. What about corporal punishment in prisons? That is moreover necessary according to me.
Yes, because it sets a deterrent to
Yes.
the criminal, so that it sets a precedent that you cannot get away if you do something wrong. So that is necessary, and not only, and I think it's high time we redefine the rarest of the rare crimes that is defined, because we now have capital punishment only in the rarest of the rare crimes, and most of the crimes, heinous crimes are also not, they also don't come under that category. So it's high time we revise that, and then again the punishment should be given not because someone is a juvenile or something. Punishment should be given upon the degree of the crime, and yes, capital punishment.
Picking up from where Varsha left, the primary question that needs to be addressed here is why we have corporal punishment, right? Is it for retribution done out of pure vengeance that the teacher inflicts harsh and criminal punishment, which is right for a criminal, to a fragile and innocent mind? Or is it done for a deterrent to prevent the child from committing further misbehavior? Now, if it's a retribution, then I think it's very wrong. But in case of deterrence, we obviously have further modern means to deal with the issue. We've long gone past the days of caning and flogging from the gurus to their shishyas. And nowadays, we have child psychologists who suggest that inflicting harsh punishments on the child do have adverse effects in the long run, and it hinders their growth mentally and emotionally. So what we are doing is not a great service. So I think and to add what Auditro said regarding US and other countries, I think US has already banned criminal corporal punishments in over 20 to 30 states among the 52 states that it has, and that kind of speak volumes that and that is per se, US is a country with the highest criminal rates and one of the highest crime rates in youth. So that kind of speak volumes of what should be done and what should not.
Absolutely, Rajeshi. In this context, yes, most of the parts of the world has already got rid of corporal punishment in terms of it meted out to children and students. But then again, I would like the forum to discuss more about corporal punishment in case of prisoners.
Comparing corporal punishment with the entire world is a good idea, but we cannot just copy it. The primary, as Rajeshri said, the primary motive of giving corporal punishment is that the child or the adult do not actually repeat his misdeed. And we should actually not compare the punishments given to the children with the punishments given to that of an established murderer or established criminal. So at a primary level, what I think that the punishment given to the adult or children should be banned at all. However, the punishments that are given to the established murderers or basically the established criminals should be taken into consideration and should be given with respect of the established crime.
But
Yes,
then
according
again,
to
some
the,
amount of limit should be there, which has to be put so that we don't have such killings in police remand and all that, because that is also increasing these days.
Yes.
And so we have to get rid of corporal punishment in prisons too, but not to that extent. And they should be police should be able to teach them a lesson, because that is how it happens. That is how it should happen. That is my point on prisoners' view. Corporal
There are a
punishment.
lot of torture cells also in countries like Pakistan and India, where people who are involved in terrorist activities are given corporal punishment so that they leak out the information they probably have and we could save millions of lives because of it. So yes, it is important, but in some sectors it is, in some sectors it is not. So I think we have reached to a conclusion that corporal punishment is necessary, but to a certain sect of the society and to a certain levels.
Yes, according to my opinion, it is my conclusion that in child, when it is growing up, then there should be corporal punishment, because once he will not learn the ethics and values of life, he is going to definitely repeat this mistake whenever he is going to work in corporate sectors. Like different kind of acts is there, like sharing the information or stealing the information from the corporate sector, which can be harmful for the industries. So this kind of activity is going to maybe can harmful for the each and individual. So I think the corporal sector should be there in the childhood when he is growing up.
Friends, let us just we all have agreed that the corporal punishment should be banned, or we do not actually support the physical harassment or the physical beating of the child. Let us just discuss some other ways so that corporal punishment should be tackled, or basically what can be the other remedies we should discuss that the teachers and the parents should follow after banning the corporal punishment.
I think proper education and upbringing of the child from a very young age is essential. Now, if there are issues with the child, in spite of that, then sitting with professional psychologists to get into the root cause of the issue is the only way out.
Actually,
And the interaction of the parents with the
interaction
with the teachers and as well as the father and guardian who is taking care of the child should be there in a regular interval, so that this can be sort out the problem which is occurring. Like the teacher should not be allowed much more maybe corporal punishment. In the same time, they should get the freedom of doing this thing from the parents.
I would like to say that it should, parents should really take care of their children so that they don't perform such mistakes in schools, so that teachers have to do such a thing. And also they should not be they shouldn't provide them with the very cozy lifestyles or very rosy life, so that they are not ready to accept the toughness in the life.
Yes, they have to be exposed to the reality, and that is how we can conclude. The forum is almost having a consensus that corporal punishment is inhuman and should be banned in certain sectors of the society. But in case of heinous crimes and all, it should be meted out to some extent. So that is how I think we should conclude.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Hi everyone, my name is Ritika Dasgupta. I'm here to give a feedback about the GD session which just took place. Right at the beginning, I think the participants should have introduced themselves. So let's not waste any time and get on with that.
Hi everyone, I am Varsha Vijay.
Hello, I am Pooja.
I am Akshay Thorat.
Hi, I am Purva Chaudhary.
I am Rajoshi Trivedi.
Hello, I am Mohammad Hashim Ali.
Hello, I am Auditra Lahiri.
Hello everyone, I am Ankur Agarwal.
Now talking about the GD session which just took place. Firstly, I think the content was really good. Everybody had certain valid points to give. But the main fallback that I noticed was that there were a lot of repetitive points. Like nobody was crossing each other. That was good. Everybody was given a chance to speak whatever they had to. But there were a lot of repetitive points. So like, and a certain person was speaking pro the point and also against it. So I think what you should do is you should have a clear idea of what you want to say. That was one clear thing. Apart from that, people were using a lot of fillers while stating their points. Like ers and as in the middle of sentences, which shouldn't happen definitely as a part of a GD. So yeah, apart from that, I think everybody spoke very well and everybody gave the others a chance to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ritika Dasgupta.
Hi, I am Alalika Roy.
Hi, I'm Paulami Shah.
Hi, I'm Tanvi Ajit.
Hello, I'm Teethu Nandi.
Hi, I am Kostu Sanmukta.
Hello, I am Anupam Dash.
So, today we are here to talk about the pros and cons of television as it is. Maybe talk about the educational benefits of television or the need of educational programs in current television schedules. So, without much further ado, let's begin.
Like you mentioned, the educational programs that come on television nowadays, they are of utmost importance with today's generation. Because earlier what would happen is, nowadays television is basically the main source of entertainment that is adopted by even the children. Earlier when we were kids, we used to actually go out and play, but nowadays everybody is hooked to screens, be it television screens, be it your mobile screens or anything else. So television needs to have proper content, educational content from which the children can actually take back some learning. But that doesn't always happen in the scenario nowadays, because there are certain programs which hinder the the learning and the education of the children as well.
Yeah, one of the reasons for this happening is that we have both parents working. So earlier we had like grandparents at home who used to like take care of the children, or they had friends in the neighborhood who used to play. But nowadays we see that both the parents are working, and once the child comes back home, he's like hooked to the TV. So
taking from her points, there are both positives and negatives to viewing a television. A television should be a source of both entertainment and educational platform. So considering after a day's work, a man should come back to his house and view television as a source of entertainment. And a child should also get some educational value from what is being viewed on television. So as Tanvi just pointed out, that there should be a proper monitoring of what the child actually views on television pertaining to environmental and social needs that he actually needs to grow and learn from that. But we can concentrate, but there are too many negatives to television as a whole, especially something pertaining to the Indian television that has the daily soaps, which generates a mindset of various negative social issues like polygamy, domestic violence, and then much of it also has to do with women-centric forwarding, where women are the center of what binds the family. It promotes non-nuclear families as well, but a major part of it has to do with the regressive mindset of Indian society.
And adding to one of the disadvantages of viewing TVs for long hours is that people don't spend much time reading. Earlier, reading was the habit that was followed, but nowadays it's like they spend their free hours just watching TV, rubbish on TV. So it's like,
adding to what you said, reading is a very good habit, always was. But even more than that, I mean, reading of course, but people don't go out nowadays.
Yeah.
That is becoming a main problem. Like the socializing that they do is via different means. It's not actually face to face. That's not happening nowadays.
Yeah.
So television also adds to that. And adding to her point, together with the daily soaps that we also have certain reality television shows,
Yes.
which are also extremely detrimental, I think, to the development of any child. And monitoring of what is viewed on television is absolutely imperative.
Given the fact that we have discussed about the pros and cons of television, what needs to be shown and what we need to see as well, we have to, given in the case study that only 12% of people see the national television where educational programs are shown, my question on the floor is that how much educational things need to be shown on the national television, how much we see them. What we can do, as my opinion, is that we can have awareness programs to deliver all those things that we want to do. Because national television is national programs, or national television, national channels are those that we rarely see. We mainly focus on commercial television. That Pauline told that we focus more on daily soaps and entertainment programs. So if we want to promote national social problems and social awareness, we must focus on awareness and more campaigns rather than on television.
Standing on the second decade of 21st century, if we keep our eyes on the pan-Indian scenario, then we can easily see that the television and this communication service is one of the major source of income from the government. So already government has some rules and regulations and to monitor all the things, and what the advertisement strategy will be there and what the programs should be there. For instance, I can say that government has already television act that says that the program which are not good for the people under the age of 12, the program should not be telecasted before the 8 p.m.
Yes.
And the programs which are not suitable for the people under 16 should not be telecasted before 10 p.m.
I would like to
at
bring
night.
a new dimension to this discussion. So let's think about whether it's the job of television and the TV channels to actually promote education.
Yes,
or is it
I will like to add to his point, because I think education is primarily we take from our parents, we take from our schools. So television is something which should be there for relaxing, and for children I think the cartoon is like if they are seeing the cartoons, their communication skill English is improving. So it's like a relaxing way where you can improve your communication skill, and
But
it's
at the same
actually
time,
good.
beyond the point of time, it becomes addictive. That is where we have to put a stop to.
And
also it should be the job of
a fantastic point here that television should be also entertainment. We are all focusing on the child and the children and education, especially on the youth section of the society. But there are another section of the society who are the working class or the housewives and who are the aged person. Most of them, they don't get to get something to do and to spend their time. So they get also entertained from the television channels. And nowadays, taking the help of the technology, we can do one thing. It is obviously operant in the technological field that people can lock the channels. You can contact that your television operating provider and you can lock the channels if you feeling that these cartoon networks and such type of things, such type of channels, they are going to be very harmful for the children. They are taking their time, so people can control it from that place. But also in the scenario of the housewife, they do all the things. They are busy throughout the day, and in the evening they also need some entertainment. And I would like to tell you another point that last year I have seen there was a pan-Indian reality show and it was dance show. So one guy was there who performed very well, and when he was asked that from where he start learning dance, he said from the television.
Yes,
so
I will like to add to this point because actually nowadays all the parents are working parents, so they don't have that time that what their childs are good at. So only education, no play, exercise
Okay,
life.
now
So
that is that education, given education is a very drab and a very raw thing.
Yes.
Presenting education is, as a sweet pill to the children can be an effective way, and television can be a very good way of doing it. Like you mentioned about cartoon and other entertaining programs to be done. So presenting that in that mode can really be done in that way.
But
So I think
television
we can
should only be, but television should be one of the means of entertainment.
Yes.
They should also go
and by
about reading and going
entertainment
out.
they
Yeah.
can just cancel education.
Considering that most of the group is in a consensus regarding that television, while they should have educational programs as well, I would say the entertainment aspect of it cannot be counted out. So in that case, I think imposing better parental controls on the content that the children can view, that should be the job of the parents. If television is becoming addictive, that is where the role of the parents actually comes. And we should not actually blame television for spoiling the minds of the young. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rajoshi Tribedi. I was observing the GD that took place just now, and as an outsider, I had a couple of observations. Firstly, congratulations to everyone. It was a really well coordinated and cooperated GD. There was no cutting off of anyone from the another. So they were very good in that respect. However, a couple of pointers. There were instances of repeating of points, which was the case in the previous GD as well. So otherwise, I think overall it was good. There were a variety of mixture of points, barring the repetition that was there. Tito did a very good job about in the opening and closing of the GD session, and everyone was good. So I think it was a very good and well planned out GD.
Thank you.
Thank you.